que ahorita una... was a kid, all I wanted to do was get someplace where something was happening. Now I live in Austin, Texas. A pretty hip place. Tons of artists and creative types everywhere. And you know what? I'd say that 90% of my mentors and peers don't live in Austin, Texas. They live everywhere. I know them from the internet. Which is to say, most of my thinking and conversation and art-related fellowship is online. Instead of a geographical art scene, I have Twitter buddies and RSS feeds. You don't have to live anywhere other than the place you are to start connecting with the world you want to be in. Make friends, ignore enemies. There's only one rule I know of. You've got to be kind. Kurt Vonnegut. There's only one reason I'm here. I'm here to make friends. The golden rule is even more golden in our hyper-connected world. An important lesson to learn. If you talk about someone on the internet, they will find out. Everybody has a Google alert on their name. The best way to vanquish your enemies on the internet? Ignore them. The best way to make friends on the internet? Say nice things about them. My grandpa used to tell my dad, "Son, it's not the money you make, it's the money you hold on to. Make yourself a budget. Live within your means. Pack your lunch. Pinch pennies. Save as much as you can. Get the education you need for as cheap as you can get it." The art of holding on to money is all about saying no to consumer culture. Saying no to takeout, $4 lattes, and that shiny new computer when the old one still works fine. Keep your day job. The truth is that even if you're lucky enough to make a living off doing what you truly love, it will probably take the folks who figure out what to leave out so they can concentrate on what's that pulls up from the recent past things to write about that you wouldn't otherwise think about. If you ask yourself, what happened today, it's very likely that you're going to remember the worst thing because you've had to deal with it. You've had to rush somewhere or somebody said something mean to you. That's what you're going to remember. But if you ask what the best thing is, it's going to be some particular slant of light or some wonderful expression somebody had or some particularly delicious salad. Write a song on your lunch break. Paint a painting with only one color. Start a business without any startup capital. Shoot a movie with your iPhone and a few of your friends. Build a machine out of spare parts. Don't make excuses for not working. Make things with the time, space, and materials you have right now. The right constraints can lead to your very best work. My favorite example? Dr. Seuss wrote The Cat in the Hat with only 200 work. 10 ways to share an ecology of talent. If you look back closely at history, many of the people who we think of as lone geniuses were actually part of a whole scene of people who were supporting each other, looking at each other's work, copying from each other, stealing ideas, and contributing ideas. Genius doesn't take away from the achievements of those great individuals. It just acknowledges that good work isn't created in a vacuum, and that creativity is always, in some sense, a collaboration, the result of a mind connected to other minds. What I love about the idea of genius is that it makes room in the story of creativity for the rest of us, the people who don't consider ourselves geniuses. Being a valuable part of a genius is not necessarily about how smart or talented you are, but about what you have to contribute, the ideas you share, the quality of the connections you make, and the conversations you start. If we forget about genius and think more about how we can nurture and contribute to a genius, we can adjust our own expectations and the expectations of the worlds we want to accept us. We can stop asking what others can do for us and start asking what we can do for others. We live in an age where it's easier than ever to join a genius. The internet is basically a bunch of geniuses connected together, divorced from physical geography. Blogs, social media sites, email groups, discussion boards, forums, they're all the same thing. Virtual scenes where people go to hang out and talk about the things they care about. There's no bouncer, no gatekeeper, and and no barrier to entering these scenes. You don't have to be rich, you don't have to be famous, and you don't have to have a fancy resume or a degree from an expensive school.